We've got to talk Star Wars, of course. It was announced earlier this year. There's a new film coming out. It's called A New Jedi Order, I believe.
Now, we all know in Star Wars lore that Anakin is the chosen one.
You are the chosen one!
Ah, thank you for confirming. That's just how it is. How Lucas wrote it. You know, the creator of Star Wars. That's not what Disney would have you believe. They want you to believe that Rey, Kathleen Kennedy self-insert, is the most important character in the entire galaxy. Forget being the best Jedi. Heck, this chica is...
You're the Jedi.
People hated Rey because, well, not only was she self-taught, she represented that video game character that had all the special abilities unlocked before you played the game.
All it takes is a little self-confidence. You know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
That's not how the Force works.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Some dude with force powers trying to probe your mind?
I know you can do it if you put your mind to it.
Not a problem.
You're afraid.
Need to fight that same dude in a lightsaber duel, even though he's something of an expert. You've never fought with a lightsaber before.
I know you can do it if you put your mind to it. No problem, Dave!
You ever come across a giant snake-like creature that you just, I don't know, want to heal? Oh, every day, mate, every day.
I know you can do it if you put your mind to it.
Come on, man! That's too easy!
That's not how the Force works.
Look, you get the message, right? Whatever it is that she needed to do, she was able to do it. No restrictions, no questions asked. And look, at its core, the message is good.
If all it takes is a little self-confidence.
In the hands of a feminist, sheer destruction.
I am so proud.
How weird a twist of fate would it be if the man who played Luke Skywalker, the hero, was in fact, in real life, something of a villain?
Mark Hamill decides to tweet this, showing these images of Melania from a long time ago.
Nazi! Who's gonna go after the kid for loving Star Wars on this one? Oh, it's Mark Hamill, because he can't see past his hatred for Donald Trump. Nazi!
The woman who portrayed Rey, granddaughter of Palpatine, self-proclaimed the true villain of the sequels, steal of everything from Han Solo's ship to Luke Skywalker's name.
Rey Skywalker.
Was in real life something of a hero.
Weird.
And yet here we are, faced with such a scenario. Daisy Ridley being asked her opinion on the recent backlash to the announcement that an activist is going to be taking over the reins of the Star Wars franchise on the big screen. Obviously, that's not how they framed it.
Well, can you tell us about it?
I actually haven't read a script yet, but the story I've been told is fantastic.
I was a little confused by that line. Was it the story that she was told is fantastic, or the story she's been told is fantastic? I.e., she hasn't heard the story that's fantastic, just heard the story is fantastic. Or was she told the story and she's saying the story is fantastic? I know which one it is.
Shut up!
Daisy, that's a really good answer. Good job. All your publicists, your whole entourage, they're all smiling.
Yeah, great answer. Professional, courteous, to the point.
It's a very worthwhile story, and I think Charmine's going to do an amazing job.
No way. You're wrong. Not a chance.
That aside, now one of them is thinking, I think it's about time we, to real meat of the conversation. Or maybe it's her producer whispering in her ear. Now, Oscar, now. Initiate Project Gaslight.
That's so
Speaking
funny.
of Charmine, I just have to ask, because there are some of the, I'd say, extreme Star Wars fans.
Alright, listen up. She's referring to you and I. No, we're not extreme. I know that's a picture they always paint. Why? Because if we disagree with anything that they propose, no matter how much we're in the right, we're the bad guys.
Previously. There's something really interesting with this character that I find fascinating, which is that he genuinely really does just want to do the right thing. But everywhere he goes, whether it's a new town or a new bar, people just kind of give him a hard time and they rag on him despite the fact that he has great intentions.
Ah, the woke journos, masters of the lead-in question.
Many times, leading questions are used by organizations to persuade clients to make a particular decision.
I'm curious if that's comparable to this sort of world, this culture of toxic fandom, where like if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, like you have great intentions, but there are always going to be a small yet vocal group of people there can kind of just be toxic.
You are simple Jack.
As always, wrong on both accounts. One, It's not a small group of people, it's the majority. Hence why nothing that isn't supported by said group of people is successful. 2, they're not toxic. They're... Henry.
I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
Damn.
Thank you very much. But that's not what they wanted to hear.
To have made this a conversation on the internet about how they don't want a female director, which seems bizarre because episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by females. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy has been overseeing all of this.
Now, the hilarious thing about that, just poo-pooed over Charmaine's statement, like directly. We play back to back.
We're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Seems bizarre because episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by females. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy has been overseeing all of this.
Hey, woke and intelligence are words that seldom go together. Anywho, there it is, the leading in of the question, the perfect setup. Now, if Daisy just do her part, everything would be fine. I've even found the perfect example.
Whenever you do something about representation or diversity or whatever, there's always pushback. How would you counter that, I suppose?
Well, I mean, the real truth is those people are idiots.
Are you serious?
There's always going to be people who are afraid, unaware, and trying to hold on to what was before. But those people die off like dinosaurs.
Okay, you got that? And action.
So, what is your take on that?
I think my take is things get blown out of proportion.
I miss her too.
You cannot be serious! I've ever had with people have been nothing but wonderful and supportive. And honestly, the day we announced that I was coming back at Celebration last year, you cannot imagine the joy and goodwill in that room. So I've only ever been embraced, and I think we're going to make a great film.
Now, there are some people who liken her comments to a certain apology tour carried out by, well, you know who.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
But to me, it's a completely different scenario. I mean, have you seen that video?
All the pictures are out there of little me in my Snow White gown.
That's why it's going to make me cry.
No, stop, because you'll make me cry.
No, don't start, please. No, don't start.
Okay, you know what? Don't none of you look at them tears and think that is funny.
I mean, for a start, the key behind doing an apology tour is saying something offensive in the first place.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
What kind of stuff in hindsight you wish you could take back?
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
To my knowledge, I haven't heard anything near as vitriolic come out of Daisy's mouth regarding George Lucas, fandom. In fact, she had this to say.
We never really had a little postmortem on Rise of Skywalker. Divisive, to say the least.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by how divisive it was? The reception to it? Or in your heart of hearts?
Was I surprised?
Yeah.
I think it's still upsetting because you don't want people to feel like you've not served the thing that they're a fan of. But Ryan's one was so divisive.
You think?
So yeah, so it really felt like the first one was fairly.
Yes.
Everyone was responsive in a similar way.
This works, thank God.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
And then Ryan's one, super divisive, and then the last one, super divisive. It was still,
Probably about as diplomatically honest as you can get without burning your bridge or two in the process. Point is, if this is an apology tour, probably the worst I've seen. Simply because the woman who did offend with her comment, to my knowledge, hasn't retracted one word. Something tells me she's not about to anytime soon.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
So I guess the most I can do is sit back, hope that this is a beginning trend of these celebrities coming out and just talking about the movies you're there to promote. Leave all the political crap behind. You're an entertainer. Entertain. That's what we damn well pay you for.
Is this your first film or no? No.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. My first proper film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That isn't like a student film with 16-year-olds.
Yeah.